Hey, transportation industry, this is Luis Lopez, the Freight Guru, and today we're going to be discussing owning or leasing. Specifically, we're going to highlight Penske leasing and discuss if Penske's the right fit for you. In previous podcasts, we've discussed the ability to either own or lease your equipment. I'm of the opinion that leasing your equipment, especially for mid and small size fleets, is the best option for you because you can have consistent fixed costs. But we're going to break that down. I was able to get from Penske in Miami a complete booklet of how they do leasing, what options they have for leasing, and maybe you could look at this and vet them at a later date and discuss with them directly if leasing with Penske is the right fit. So the first thing we're going to look at here in Sonar, which we really appreciate this platform and the ability to get information rather quickly, is that Class A vehicle sales, which is for the heavy duty rigs, is at a 2018 high. So you're looking at numbers that are above normal, meaning that there are a massive amount of new sales happening in the industry. Is that a bull market where you're going to be seeing this demand in the future, or is this the top of the market? I don't know the answer to that, but I can tell you that it seems like trucking companies of all sizes are bullish towards this market and are adding units to their fleet. So if you're in that threshold and you're looking to add units, what option do you feel is best? Owning or leasing? Now, the good option of owning the vehicle is that it becomes an asset and ultimately you can sell that asset at a later date, 3-5 years down the road. I think that when you're running a trucking business and you're prioritizing what we think is the most important thing, which is compliance and providing service to your customer, it's very hard to have a business within a business. So I highly recommend leasing, and the two major providers for leasing is Ryder and Penske. Today, we're going to highlight Penske leasing. We're going to highlight what they're doing and why they feel that they're the right provider for this space. So when you look at Penske and you look at their model, so the big thing that Penske sells is advanced technology. So they're going to give you technology that's going to be able to be proactive, not reactive to situations. So they're big on adaptive cruise control, forward collision warning, active driving assistance, lane departure warning, lane keeping assistance, automatic emergency braking, blind spot warning, and and that's pretty much it. When it comes down to these things, what this is going to help you with, and this information here will help you with your insurance provider. Be able to go to an insurance provider and said, hey, you know what? Not only do I have a brand new piece of equipment, I have equipment that has all these safety features. And by having these safety features, I believe that we're going to be a good candidate for your insurance policy. As stated before, insurance is one of the hardest barriers to overgo over the course of a 5-year trucking company. And getting that insurance policy at a rate that is below the national average is your goal. And the only way you're going to do that is by having good compliance standards and by having effective equipment. So this program here with Penske is going to give you that one layer of safety. And that safety is going to lead to less accidents, more efficiency, and the ability to get that driver on the road and keep them on the road for a longer period of time. The other thing that I think Penske does well as Ryder, is that they're going to be able to provide you a subunit when that vehicle breaks down. Look, everybody that's running a trucking fleet now, and especially if you're in the Midwest and in the areas that are experiencing, abnormal snow conditions, the drivers, when they start their day, they have to do their pre-trip inspections. And even these new vehicles, they need to be warmed up and they need to be idled for a period of time in order to make sure that that vehicle is going to operate that day efficiently. And with Penske and Ryder, you're able to get those analytics and figure out what drivers aren't doing their proper pre-trip vehicle inspections, what drivers aren't warming up their trucks properly, because all that information is going to be relevant on their platform. So the other step that we're going to go into is connected vehicle, leveraging technology. Penske provides a platform where you're going to be able to look at your invoices online, look at the analytics of those vehicles, and be able to provide more of a pivoted approach at vehicle maintenance. And here we have our contact, Eduardo Rodriguez, which is the Penske rep that sent me this information. And I'm going to provide you his phone number and his contact details. So if you want to reach out to him and have a further discussion, we're not getting paid by Penske to do this. We actually asked them to come on today, and they said their marketing team wouldn't allow it. So we got this information from them. And we're not advocating going with Penske or Ryder. We're just trying to give you the ability to look at both of these options, look at these vendors, and then you make the best educated decision based on your company's needs and what they're currently offering. So the other caveat of the Penske program is that they're going to offer you a full lease program, which means that maintenance is going to be covered. Preventative maintenance is going to be covered. And unlike your owners of trucking companies that manage their own equipment, Penske and Ryder are going to have technology and a back office system to manage and alert you when the vehicle maintenance requirements are required. So that 3-month oil change that maybe you're doing on an Excel spreadsheet, Penske's doing that automated through their back office platform. So it's going to make sure that you get alerted and you have a quality control process to make sure that that vehicle that's a brand new unit that is under warranty and stays under warranty as long as you do your preventative maintenance. Because these manufacturers are not going to cover a defect if they don't have proof that you're doing your preventative maintenance and your oil changes and doing all the stuff that's required under that manufacturer warranty. So Penske at a glance. This is just an overview of Penske. Founded in 1969 by Roger Penske, 1,100 locations, 30,000 associates, and 300,000 heavy, medium, and light-duty vehicles. So these are all the different types of manufacturers Penske works with. So you have Caterpillar, which are engines, Great Dane trailers, Freightliner, and that's a good topic of conversation. Well, what type of equipment should I go with? You have Volvo, you have International, you have Freightliner, you have Great Dane trailers, you have Trail Mobile, you have Hino trucks. So that's really a preference. I find that you have to look at the demographic of your radius where you're procuring drivers. Like for example, in the Florida market, Volvos are in high demand. A lot of the drivers that are driving over the road, the Hispanic, especially the Hispanic drivers, they rather have the Volvos because they're more comfortable, have a really good turn radius, and are super friendly for the truck driver. Where Freightliner might not be as friendly for the driver experience, but it's much easier to get parts because they have created a lot larger scale of distribution across the United States. So if you're looking for quick, efficient, and get parts quicker, I would go Freightliner. If you want to cater to the driver and you want the driver to be able to have the ability to use the equipment that they feel is the best for their driving experience, then you would go with Volvo. But both you can't really go wrong. The other thing that I think is super important to discuss is predictable budget and cost. So when you own a vehicle and you're on the road and you have a breakdown, you have a variable cost where you would probably go on to NTTS and you'd look up a vendor in that local area. And it's very fragmented. Providers in California are going to charge a lot different rates than providers in Oklahoma, where Penske says, you know what, we're providing you a full lease program. You're going to pay a rate per mile. You're going to pay a base lease with a maintenance package, and we're going to manage the maintenance. So we're going to control our buying power. We're going to control all this critical mass of locations that we've created all across the United States. We're going to go out to these vendors, and we're going to get rates that are going to be standardized, and they're going to be very quick and efficient to service you. And by doing so, you pay for that on your lease program. So when it comes down to idle time and breakdown time, I think that you really can't compete with Ryder and Penske because they have all these locations all across the United States, and they have these vendors that are already set up with rates with them and are able to service you quicker. Where if you would be an owner of a trucking fleet and you own your units, you'd have to go out, you'd have to look up a vendor, you'd have to get multiple quotes, and then from there, you'd have to make a decision on who you want to use. So in reference to value, I think the value comes in efficiency and the ability to avoid these unpredictable costs that you're going to have with owning equipment, where as long as you're doing your preventative maintenance and as long as you're meeting the manufacturer warranty, you're able to allow Penske or Ryder to handle those variable costs for you. So it's really, really important to understand that's the big difference, where if you own the vehicle, you're going to have to service that vehicle. If it's not under warranty, you're going to have to cover those costs. With Penske, those things are eliminated. So I think ultimately it's a much more consistent cost. And I think when you really look at it long-term over a period of a year, it's pretty much the same. You're going to spend the money no matter what. I would rather be able to budget and set a certain amount of money a month for a lease program, where with a owner of truck program and owning the assets, you might have more money in profit one month than a lease program owner, but ultimately you can have a really bad month the following month and then be in a situation where you've had more repairs than you were expecting, and then you're taking a massive loss that month because that month you just happen to have more damages to units and repairs required outside of the maintenance. So, there's no right or wrong. It's really what's best for your company and for your specific needs. But definitely a lease program is going to give you that consistency on what costs are going to be. So with Penske, the other thing that you're going to get is you're going to get a direct account executive. So you're going to have somebody you can speak to, is going to give you industry knowledge, tell you where the market's going, and provide you strategic planning and growth opportunity through their Penske platform. The other thing, when it comes down to financing, especially in this market today, it's probably your 2020 numbers weren't great because of COVID and because of the pandemic. So the interesting thing about the lease program is that outside of the initial security deposit and maybe one month of prepaid lease, there is no need for a massive upfront cost. So where if you would do conventional financing, you might be looking at 5 to 7% interest rate and a 20% down payment per truck. So definitely the other advantage of leasing is that the fixed costs to initiate that truck and to get that truck on the road are going to be a lot less than that conventional financing agreement and down payment. So what does the full service lease for Penske include? It's vehicle speccing and acquisition, vehicle financing, because they're financing that lease, of preventative maintenance, engine fluid analysis, component repair and replacement, tire maintenance program. So if you decide that you want to go through Penske for tires as well, they can also, with that critical mass, provide you discounts on tire services. 24/7 emergency road service. Yeah, we've all been there where a truck's broken down, you're on a load that has to be on time, and you need to get a subunit. Penske's going to provide you that service, and you're going to have account executive you're going to be able to reach out to and discuss the problem, and they're going to prioritize it for you. So that's great. And when those breakdowns happen, you're going to need a substitute unit, and that substitute unit is going to be provided by your lease provider. Safety and driver incentive programs, vehicle washing, skilled maintenance technicians. I think that's crucial. Finding mechanics that know how to operate these high-end vehicles with all this technology, very difficult to find. And online, on NTTS, in the middle of the country, when you're broken down, you might have to tow a truck 300, 400, 500 miles in order to get to an approved vendor. That would be managed by your leasing provider. So, it's just much more efficient. If you're in the business of moving freight A to B and you want to do that with high KPIs and the ability to provide a real valuable service to your customer, I think leasing gives you the most upside. So here they're talking about intelligent maintenance, and that basically is utilizing their back office in order to provide that service of the day-to-day PMs the day-to-day standard maintenance procedures that are required in order to keep your warranty in good standing. So this is something new for Penske. They have something called Fleet Insight, and we're going to take a look at this on this podcast. I'm going to actually do a couple minutes on Fleet Insight so you can see what it looks like. But it's a really good, solid a tool that's online. It also has an iPad or iPhone app, and you're able to log in there, and you're able to see all your vehicles under your maintenance program and under your lease program, and where you stand in those PMs and those maintenance requirements. So you're going to be able to have a very specific deadline for all your vehicles in order to get those vehicles processed and still keep that good standing with your warranty. And we're going to show you Penske Fleet Insight. We're going to log in here. First thing you're going to see about the Penske Fleet Insight is the UI, the user interface is very, very robust, very easy user face to use. The program is friendly, very simple. And for all those thinking about joining the Penske leasing program, you'd get access to Fleet Insight. First thing you're going to see on the left-hand side is the overview. You'll see the number of units that you currently are operating, how many are leased, how many are rental. It will provide you a pop-up every time there's new enhancements. Provide you some data on current roadside assistance events, as well as your total repair orders. Any billing for previous months on maintenance billing, this would be considered outside of your warranty. And you could also register all your drivers. The next tab is going to be maintenance. This is where you can schedule maintenance for previous or future dates. If you have a driver that is on a roadside call, you can contact roadside assistance here. You'll see all your pending roadside assistance events. You can report an event right here. Here you'd have a detailed history or current view of all your repairs. This is where you would put your distance start and end odometer times. This is for purposes of billing you the per mile fee and also for IFTA purposes as well. So you have your contract vehicles and your rental vehicles. You can browse a list of all your units here. You have your VIN number, what type of equipment, the Penske unit number. You're also able to download this into an Excel file if you want to upload this into your own repository. You can assign new users here in the All Groups tab. If you need to send a driver to a Penske location, you can type in any zip code, and it would pull up all the Penske locations within that radius. In reports, you can see all your reporting functionality and all the applicable reports. So if you want to know fuel reports, if you want to see maintenance reports, if you want to do a fuel and distance compliance report, you could do all that here. And then finally, in invoicing, this is where you'll get billed every month, all your bills for the corresponding previous month. So here you'll be able to upload your invoices into a PDF, and then you could just review them, and then you could also dispute any transactions here. So when it comes down to Penske, the one thing I will tell you is that the UI, they've really focused on the UI, that user interface, and it's a very simple user interface. It's not difficult to understand. Anybody that's in your customer service department, anybody that is in your dispatch department that needs to manage their IFTA, manage their units, set up repairs, set up maintenance, very easy to do it on this platform. And I give this really 1 out of 10. I'd give it an 8.5 for for purposes of use. I think it's very, very easy to use and very efficient. So that's what we have for today. And again, today it's all about, should I own or should I lease the vehicle? And that ultimately is a decision that you as an owner or a fleet manager need to make. I don't think there's any right or wrong on this, but I do tend to believe that leasing a vehicle is the best outcome long term. So let me know what you think, and we'll tune in next time and discuss further.